Hey guys, how you going? So today on BKR Sport, we are back for another one of these power rankings videos in the A-League. Now, obviously last week, guys, unfortunately due to technical difficulties, I wasn't able to bring out a power rankings video, but overall, there wasn't a great deal of change. Like, there was some changes here and there, but not a great deal. And to be honest with you, there's not really that much change this week either. There is definitely changes. It's not a great damn well deal. You know, the bottom of the table is pretty locked up at the moment. You know, the top of the table is very hard, actually. The top of the table is very difficult to read right now because I don't actually have a straight out-and-out favourite right now. I don't have a straight out-and-out team that is just by far the best team. I found a lot of difficulty in actually finding the number one spot this week because number one spot isn't exactly that unreal. But if you're not too sure what these power rankings videos are, guys, basically, it's not just me going over the table and discussing what's going on right now with every team's position on the actual standings. Instead, I give you a bit of a roundup of kind of how the team is actually genuinely going right now. Like, do they deserve to be in where they are? Should they be higher? Should they be lower? Are they starting to improve again? Who their results have been? Like, have they been against good teams? Have they been against bad teams? You know, what kind of game did they play? Who's in form? Who's not in form? You know, there's a whole heap of factors that go into this, and especially considering the fact that, you know, teams like Perth Glory haven't played in like 2 weeks now, and that's going to really hamper on their progress, and they've had a real rough season in regards to this because they didn't start until 3 weeks after the season started in the first place. So, look, they're a few games behind now, and it's hard to give them a good power rankings reading because they're just simply not playing. But let's get into the A-League power rankings for Week 10. Number 12, and, you know, there's not much to really change here at all, is there? Unfortunately, Victory fans, you are here. However, this could change tonight. Maybe it could change tonight. Now, they played with Wellington Phoenix, and that's a home game as well. So, Phoenix haven't been that great this season, but in the same sense, you know, they're better than what the Victory have shown. So, it's fair to put Victory in 12th here, and there's not much change. They haven't changed at all in any power ranking so far because they are just simply the worst team in the A-League. You know, they have proven to be a team that unfortunately just can't get the result that they probably feel like they have deserved in a couple of games. You know, they weren't too bad against Western United. They got a 0-0 draw in that one, and you know, they're plugging along, but they're also just simply not getting results. They can't score goals, they can't defend, and there's just a lot of soul searching that needs to be happening for this club right now on and off the field to get them back to a stage that we all know they can be. You know, they're one of the most successful teams in the A-League history, and unfortunately this is a pretty poor year for them, and I can't really see a way out from next year too. But then again, you know, everyone thought the Mariners would have a pretty poor year this year, and look at them, they're bloody flying. They had like 10 years of being absolutely diabolical, and now look at them now. So, you know, any team in this league can just turn it around, but unfortunately for now, the Victory are still in 12th. We will be streaming the game tonight, so hopefully it's a good game, but it is between, you know, the bottom two. In number 11, we do have the Wellington Phoenix. This isn't a shock either, to be completely honest with you. They are 11th. This is the dead set bottom two in the actual A-League, so it's fair to say this is a pretty fair result, to be honest with you. You know, they haven't been as bad. I think if it wasn't for Adelaide winning, I probably could have put Wellington above Adelaide this week, but Adelaide did get the win against the Mariners that we'll get to in a second. But Wellington are getting they're not good, but they're not bad, is what I'm saying. I don't think their team, the way they've played, or just their team on paper as well, deserves to be in 11th. Unfortunately, they have to be here, though, because they aren't getting the results they need. Yes, they're coming off a 2-2 draw with the Wanderers. I actually correctly predicted that exact scoreline on my stream. I was pretty happy with that, but, you know, they got off to a good start, and unfortunately, they gave up 2 goals to the Wanderers, and then, you know, they equalised late on, but realistically, like, they played well enough in that game to win. They had played well enough in that first opening half to have put many through the Wanderers, but they still didn't do it. They have so many opportunities that they just don't put away, unfortunately. And we all go back to the fact that they don't get any home games. It's just a problem over the longevity of this season, and I can't see them moving too highly above 10th or 9th at this rate, you know? Like, I think they've got a better team. I think their team isn't actually that bad. The product they're putting on the field isn't actually that horrible. but they're still not getting the results they need. So for the time being, they definitely deserve to be in 11th. I would love to see them jump up a bit. Who do they play? They play the Victory tonight. Which should be it should be a game that they should win. That should be a game they should be winning, especially considering how poor the Melbourne Victory have been this year. I'd love to see them improve, but they deserve to be 11th right now. Number 10 is Adelaide United. Now, last week they were also in 10th, so this is still the bottom three from last week, and they got to win. They got to win 3-2. I did call it. I did say that they'd get a win, even though the Mariners, they've been playing fantastic this year, and, well, they've been playing good enough this year to show where they are. But we're not talking about the Mariners right now, buddy. Relax. Adelaide weren't that bad. Adelaide were the better team in the game. They had 3 controversial penalties. The third one shouldn't be controversial. The third one was a stonewall penalty. The first one was 50-50, probably leaning on the fact of no, but still 50-50. The second one was obviously 100% not a penalty. So they got a little bit lucky in the end, but in the same sense, football, it's going to be like this. You're going to get results like this. Sometimes you're going to get absolutely bloody lucked out with the VAR and the referees, and then on other days, you're going to get absolutely slaughtered. You're going to get absolutely slaughtered. And it will happen. It will happen with every team. So you just kind of have to get used to these kind of results, because one day your team will benefit from it, and one day your team will get slapped up by the VAR and the referees, and you'll be claiming foul, and the people will remind you of this game, right? So I think Adelaide deserved the result. I think they deserved probably more of a draw, to be honest with you, but they were the better team overall. They're still not that great. They're still not really... Their defence was a shambles. The fact they gave that first goal away to the Mariners was just horrific. That was a horrific goal to give away. Their defence is a shambles. Their attack wasn't that great. It was okay, but they deserve to be in 10th. They don't necessarily deserve to be below Wellington just yet, but if Wellington win this week and Adelaide don't, then I definitely could put Wellington above Adelaide. They're just not the team that we thought of going into this season, and this is where they are for that reason. Number 9, and we have the Newcastle Jets. Now, why am I saying the Jets are in 9th when obviously they're top 6 right now? They're in actually 6th, which is crazy. And how can you have teams like Western United or Melbourne City above them? This is because of what I said before in the games in hand. Western United are in this place right now. They're in 9th, but they've also got legit... Or actually, I think they might be in 10th, actually. I think Western United might be in 10th. However, Western United, yeah, they are. So Western United are actually in 10th with 6 games played and 8 points. Newcastle Jets have played 9 games and have got 11 points. So Western United still have 3 games in hand, are only 3 points behind, and they also have a better goal difference. So there you go. That's how you got to look at this. And that's why I say the table doesn't really tell you enough about what you should actually be knowing about the league right now. Because the Jets are in the top 6, but all the other teams below them pretty much have got less games played than them. So there is those games in hand. And if that's the 10th place team, and they're able to jump the Jets with the next bloody win, then that's telling you something about the teams above them as well. So look, the Jets are fine. They're doing great. They're doing good. People expect them to come last, and they're coming 6th, but realistically probably 9th. That's still a positive result for them. And they're getting wins. They got a 1-0 win on the weekend. They're getting draws left, right, and centre. They're not losing games, which is a positive. But I can't put them above West United. And I can't put them above Melbourne City. I can't put them above any other teams right now because they have played a lot more games, and they still don't look that great. That 0-0 against Brisbane Roar the other week, they were outplayed the whole game. Jack Duncan obviously saved them, and their defence is pretty good. But overall, they're not a better team than West United. They're not a better team than Melbourne City, So, look, it's unfortunate, but, the Jets deserve to be here, but I think it's a very positive result for them. I've been backing them in all season long. I've been saying they're not that bad, and they're not that bad. They are not that bad. So I'm looking forward to seeing more from the Jets. I'm looking forward to seeing them hopefully, continue to rise up the table. But, I think 9th is a pretty positive result for them so far. Number 8, and this is a little bit of a controversial one. A little bit. Not too much, but still a little bit. It's West United. Now, they're still in the same spot that they've been in probably, 2-3 weeks now? They've been in 8th since, 3 weeks now, so since week 8. Look, it's fair. They got the good result against Macarthur 4-1. Macarthur 50-50. This is why I didn't change them last week. You didn't know that, but I didn't actually change Macarthur at all after last week's 3 or 4-0 drubbing of Adelaide United. Macarthur are very 50-50. So West United have beaten Macarthur wasn't necessarily, for me personally, a huge result. But it was also a very significant result in the sense that they finally got some goals on the sheet and not conceding too many goals. And they won 4-1. Congratulations, great result against a team that everyone was backing in. However, West United still have a lot of problems that I need to see another good win like that for them to jump up even more. Now, I genuinely believe they could jump into the top 6 next week if they win their games that realistically they should be winning. They've got a great team on paper. Great team. And they should be better than where they are. Like I said, they have got only 6 games played compared to Jets who are 9 games played, and the Jets are in the top 6, so, do the math. The United are probably in the top 6 right now, more than likely. But you can't back it in. Look at CDFC, for example. They've got a heap of games in hand over the Mariners, but they can't chomp them down because of what we've been seeing recently. So games in hand are great, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win them. And you still need to actually get the results. You still need to actually get the wins on the board from those games. And we've all seen this year. I was speaking to Ryan Grant the other day in the vlog. Everyone's beating everyone, so you can't back in those games in hand. However, due to the games in hand, West United more than likely will be in the top 6, and I could probably see if they win this week. I'm not too sure who they play this week, but I could probably see if they win this week, them jumping at least to around 7 or 6. Number 7, and just outside the top 6, we have Melbourne City. Now, they got a very good win last night, 3-2 over Sydney FC. However, they fell apart in the end. Wow, they fell apart massively in the end. They were up 3-0, and then choked it away to make it 3-2 with like 2 minutes, 3, 4, 5 minutes to go, and then they had to basically defend for the final few minutes, and that shouldn't be the case. I still don't believe in Kiz Norbo. I still think he's absolutely horrific, and I still think he should not be there. And I hate to do that because, this is still his job, this is still his career, but this is what you get in this, sport. You have to expect these kind of criticisms when your team isn't performing. And although they did perform last night, probably for 60 minutes, they didn't perform for the final 30 and nearly coughed it up in the end. So they got the win, which means that West United won't jump them. And they got the win, which shows they could go on a bit of a run of form right now. But I do have a little bit of question marks about the ending of that game. That Sydney FC looked absolutely shocking last night. You go up against a team that can score, and I can tell you right now, Perth Glory probably would have come back in that game. I can tell you right now, a lot of the team probably could have come back in that game if they were having a regular game where they could score a goal or two. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, I know that Melbourne City won the game, but I was very impressed in the first half. And then I wasn't very impressed in the second half. I was actually very disappointed in how that game finished. So, look, Melbourne City is 7th. They could easily jump into the top 6 next week. They are coming. Hopefully, they've got the talent. Adrian Luna was fantastic. McLaren with a brace. The defence wasn't that bad until the final 30 minutes. So, look, it was fine. They got the win. Congratulations. There is a lot of doubts, though, so they do stay in 7th. First switcheroo of the power rankings for this week, and we got MacArthur in 6th. So they were actually in 5th last week, and they were in 5th the week before that too. The reason being is because, look, they had those 2 games where everyone was like, oh, wow, here we go. Wait a second, MacArthur are actually coming again. They've got the team for it, so, you may as well see them start coming again. And then they lose 4-1 to Western United. Now, obviously, they beat the Brisbane Roar 2-0, but they still got outplayed in that game until the 70th minute where they scored a goal, and then Brisbane Roar were just on the back foot and conceded another goal, which is very much like how it happened when MacArthur played Mariners, and the Mariners got that win. It was an unimpressive win. They got the win, but it was an unimpressive win for the Mariners that day. It's the same with MacArthur against the Brisbane Roar. It was a bit more impressive, but in the same sense, it wasn't that great. And then they obviously went and beat Adelaide 4-0, 3-4-0, whatever it was. And look, it is what it is. They had a good week or so, but that doesn't mean that they're necessarily here and ready to stay yet. Their consistency is still struggling. They still got a goal through Derbyshire, but that was very late on. It was like 91st minute, so it was basically 4-0 that entire game. And to a team that has been even more inconsistent than MacArthur this year. So I think the team below them did enough over the week to put them above them for consistency reasons. But MacArthur don't deserve to drop off any more than they have been right now. They're still in the mix. They're still doing well besides that one game. But it's just the inconsistency factor and the fact that their attack still isn't that great overall that does put them down a little bit for me. Number 5, the team that did switcheroo with them, and that is Western Sydney Wanderers. Now, I don't believe too highly in this team overall. I don't. I think that they don't really have the attack for me. I think they're believing too highly in Duke, basically what Sydney FC are doing with Bobo. Wanderers fans are expecting him to come in and just buddy bang, 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 and just fix this attack. Bobo's had a couple of good games. There's been okay performances. They still drew 2-2 with the Wellington Phoenix, who, aren't exactly great this year. But they're getting results to be consistent enough to say that we're not going to lose games because our defence is pretty good. But it's hard to win games because our attack isn't that good. They beat the Melbourne Victory last week, and cool, that's a Melbourne Victory. It wasn't that great of a result. They didn't score for like 60, 70 minutes or whatever. They still got the win, though. So I think that their consistency is better than MacArthur for me, which is why I have Wanderers in 5th and not 6th. And I think it's a fair result. But there is still a lot left wanting from the Wanderers going forward. Number 4, and this one's a little bit unfortunate. We're not going to talk too much about this because this is just unfortunately due to the fact they haven't played in 2 weeks. The Perth Glory. Now, they dropped down simply because of the fact that we haven't seen them for weeks, right? The other team that you guys obviously know who it is has jumped. Well, actually, no, you don't, because they didn't do one last week. The thing with Perth Glory is that, they haven't played all these games, so they could easily come back next week and just go bang, 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 bang. They do play the Brisbane Roar this weekend, which I'm going to be streaming, guys. That's a difficult game to come back to, because Brisbane Roar's defence is probably, for me, the best defence in the league right now. And then Perth Glory's attack is the best attack in the league right now. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this game does go, especially after 2 weeks, because usually you find that attack and fluidity and creativity really lacks after a big, spell, after a big timeout, because you still have to get back into the rhythm, and this team's been playing all these games and this team hasn't been playing all these games. Usually you want to expect your defense to be the one to hold you down after a big spell, and Perth Glory don't have that. So it's going to be a struggle for them this week. They probably still, I don't know, actually, I'm not going to make a prediction, but they do drop down because the other team has gotten a positive result, and they're pretty fairly matched right now in regards to what's going on. So, look, they're 4th. They're probably above 4th, though, but we'll see how they go this week. Number 3, and this is the Brisbane Roar, the team that we were just talking about. They do jump into 3rd place. They were obviously in 1st originally, then they went down to 2nd, then they went down to 4th, and now they're up to 3rd. So I think it's fair to jump Perth after a positive result in Sydney. We did a vlog on this game, guys. We spoke to Warren Moon, we spoke to Ryan Grant, and it was a good 0-0. It wasn't a great thing for the attack, but the defence showed still that the defence is there. The defence is still quality. So, look, I think the Brisbane Roar deserve 3rd over Perth based on the fact that they're at least showing that they're still there and they can compete with the top team. There is so many question marks about this team that I genuinely believe after this weekend, Perth Glory probably jump back above them, but that's just, assumptions at this point until we can see what we can, see this weekend's games. But I think Brisbane Roar are doing just enough to stick in that top 4, top 3 area, and they're better than a lot of the other teams outside of that top 4 overall through the midfield and through the back line. It's just the attack that I've been saying all year, since the 4th season started. This is the attack that lets them down. You get a Golgo had a good game, though. Golgo had a good game when he came on for the Brisbane Roar, though. He really did help out, nearly scored for Brisbane against Sydney. So maybe that might be something there that could help out long term. And, they go up against a team this week that can't really defend. So it'll be an interesting game between Perth and Brisbane because, they're both polar opposites in the way they both play too. Number 2. Now, this is difficult. Central Coast will stay here. I want to put Central Coast above. I do. I want to put them into number 1. But I'm not going to just yet. Because they still lost the game, and they weren't the best team in the game against Adelaide. Yes, there was controversial penalties, but they still weren't the best team in the game. Adelaide were the better team overall, in my personal opinion. If they had have drawn or won, I would have put them above Sydney FC. I would have put them into number 1. Because consistency-wise, they've been good this year. They've proven a lot of people wrong, including myself, that they're a team that's here to stay. And I want to put them into first, but I can't because they still lost, and in that loss, they didn't look great, and they looked like a team that is around a 6-7 spot. No, 5-6 spot. A 5-6 spot. So, for now, for this week, the Mariners will stay in second. Mariners will play Perth this week. Difficult matchup to predict. So, they could jump in at first, but they also could drop below the Roar if the Roar get a positive result against Perth and the Mariners lose to Perth. So, yeah, be interesting week actually in regards to that. But number 1, we do have Sydney FC. Now, this is the most unconvincing, don't believe in it, number 1 I've seen in my life. That last night was one of the poorest performances I've ever seen from Sydney FC. And I don't care about the 2 goals they scored late on. They looked horrific, they looked abysmal, and the 2 goals they scored late on was basically because Melbourne City are diabolical in finishing off games. Sydney FC did not look like coming back in that game. Even when they scored their second goal, I was like, it's not happening. They just did not look good. So this is the most unconvincing, unimpressive number 1 I have seen on power rankings in ever, right? but they still get it because Mariners didn't win their game, didn't draw their game, they lost their game to a pretty poor opponent too overall, and there's no way you could drop them down based on other results. If Brisbane Roar had have beaten Sydney FC, and then they had have gone and play, and then Sydney FC had have gone and played City and lost that game, I could easily have actually seen Sydney FC drop to third. I could have probably put Mariners above Raw and Raw in second. Obviously, this didn't happen, so this is all just kind of a buddy mumble jumble, blah, 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 you know, but I don't even know what that was. But mumbo jumbo is probably what the word I was trying to think of there, the two words. I'm all over the shop. But the point matter is, City not that great. They're in first because of other results not going the way of the other teams, and they should feel very lucky to be number one. And I don't have a favourite this year so far, now, anymore. I thought it was Sydney FC, but they just didn't look great. They didn't look necessarily that good against Brisbane Roar. They attacked, but they hit the post, which is just as good as hitting the corner post. Like, who cares? You know, it's a close shot, but let's talk about Dylan Wenzel-Halls, who also had a very close shot that just went over the bar. Just because it hit the post doesn't mean it's any better than anything else. Hitting the post is off target. You know, it's hitting the corner post. It's hitting buddy person in buddy row Z, in buddy, you know, the buddy F tier. Like, shit, man, like, that doesn't mean anything. You still drew the game 0-0. They go, oh my God, unlucky. And so did the buddy Brisbane Roar. And so did buddy Melbourne City not scoring 60 against you. So, look, I really, really would like to see Sydney bounce back this week. They have a difficult game against, I think it's MacArthur. I think they play MacArthur this week, which should be a difficult game considering MacArthur have a good defense. I will be going to this game, actually. Are they playing? They do. So they play MacArthur on Sunday. I will be at this game. I will be vlogging this game. I don't think Sydney FC play again. No, that's their only game this week. Considering they've got a couple of games in hand, I'm surprised they've only got one game this week. But yeah, so they'll play MacArthur. Very difficult match. They are at Cogra. I will be going to it, so I'm looking forward to it. And hopefully Sydney can bounce back from their pretty poor run of form and just not that great of a season so far. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. I hope you have enjoyed. If you did, please give a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you are new around here. We do this every single week. I know last week, obviously, due to technical difficulties, I couldn't put it out, but we do put these out every single week. So let me know in the comment section below what your thoughts are, where you think teams are, whether you think I've been unfair or fair, or just let me know your thoughts overall about the A-League so far this season. I think it's been pretty enjoyable, and you know I'm looking forward to everything that's going to come our way too, because we don't know who is going to win this year. Very difficult. Anyone can win. I'd say anyone in the top 8 can win the league this year. I'd say anyone in the top 8 could realistically win the league this year, and that's what makes it so exciting. So, like I said, thumbs up, subscribe if you're new around here, and I'll see you guys next time. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Catch you later. See ya.